It's the church as you come in. That's actually what they call the fellowship hall, where all of the seating and stuff is. This is the actual church. You don't need to go into that. And then you just walk straight back to that hut. And then the road is up there. So this is the canal just at the very edge of the Seminole reservation, and I've seen a few alligators in this canal. I think one of them just splashing the water over there, but it's kind of one of those things that don't really have to worry about, and people just are afraid of, I guess, because they're not used to it. But every alligator I've seen in the last few days is sitting on the other side of the canal, and they don't even move. If they are here, they kind of just slide into the water way ahead of you, and they just float down the middle of it. They're not like jumping out of the water and chasing you, and most of them aren't that big. I mean, they're probably, I don't know, 6 to 8 feet long. So, but there's definitely a lot of them. I saw a bunch walking past I-75 out of the swamp, and I'm sure the next couple days walking this canal we're gonna see some more. So like I said, the only thing you really got to be careful, I mean, not that you want to drink this water anyway, it's got all kinds of agricultural runoff in it that you can't filter out and is not safe to drink. But if you had to, you just want to be careful about reaching your hand at the edge of the water and splashing, especially now. It's almost sunset. That's kind of when they're most active, and they're mostly going to attack because they don't know what you are. They think you're a deer or a bird or something splashing. So, like I said, you don't want to drink this water anyway. You'd be better off just probably being dehydrated for a couple miles and going to the next water cache. But I kind of did something different today. I stayed at the church until about 11:30. Everybody else obviously had left at like 7 o'clock in the morning. One guy named Machine stayed till about 10. But it's supposed to be like 85 degrees today, and it's a lot like this where it's exposed and it's road walks, and I just didn't see the point of walking in the heat all day. So I stayed in the AC till like 11:30, And then I left the church, walked a couple miles down the road to a gas station that has like a grill. And then I had a hamburger there. And I got a steak quesadilla to go. That's what my dinner's gonna be. And then, I stayed there till about 1:30. And from there to the first campsite, I think it's 16 miles. So I've gone just about 10 miles today so far. And it'll definitely be dark by the time I get to the campsite, but so I kind of planned it that way. It's going to be a full moon tonight. I'm going to have a headlamp anyway, but I'm kind of curious just to see what kind of stars you can see, if there's any kind of interesting wildlife. I don't know how many, birds and things are out, but mostly just did it for the cooler temps. So I think I should still get there by probably 9 or 10 o'clock, and that's usually when I go to bed anyway, so it doesn't really make that much of a difference. I just got to enjoy the air conditioning longer than everybody else, because anybody else that's staying at that campsite tonight probably got there at 3 or 4 o'clock, and they've just been sitting in the hot sun all day. So I think it's supposed to cool down tomorrow a little bit, so maybe I'll hike during the day. We'll see, but I'm just kind of taking it slow. My feet the bottom of my feet are getting sore. I think they're just not used to walking all day, so that'll go away in a couple weeks. But my Achilles are feeling better. I found a pair of Crocs somebody left at the church, and they're actually kind of comfortable. I put one of my insoles into the left one, and I don't have any pressure on the back side of my ankle anymore, so it's not rubbing the blister, and there's plenty of room. So it's got like a big toe box, and I can't really tell the difference that I'm wearing it. So I might end up just wearing Crocs on both feet when this right shoe gives out, and maybe just keep doing it on all my hikes, because they do make a good camp shoe. They also make a good water shoe, and if you can hike in them, well, you got 3 in 1. So I've heard of people hiking in them before, and I just always thought they were crazy because it didn't sound very comfortable or very practical. But I guess don't knock it until you try it. See a alligator. It's a baby one, sticking its head. Vultures. Oh, there's another one laying there, right there at the edge. I think I heard one a while back. I'm guessing it was eating a bird, because it was on that side over there, and just heard there was like those tall reeds just crashing through there or something. So I guess it was waiting for a bird to get close and it snapped at it or something. Couldn't really see or hear anything, or I heard it, but couldn't really tell what was going on. But I figured it had to be an alligator at least. But I just got passed by some construction workers. I guess they had all their work trucks and stuff. I guess they're going home. But my feet are kind of sore. Think I'm probably gonna stop at the first campsite. It looks like it's gonna be closer to 20 miles total for the day, which is more than I expected, but it's the only option because from the church to there's no legal place to camp. I was walking beside the road, you know, and you got a canal on one side, the road on the other side of the canal, and then to your left is private land. And then, you know, you're walking on a dirt road like this, so if you did camp there, you'd get seen. Obviously, it's on the reservation as well, so. And then out here, I mean, I guess if you wanted to, you could, I mean, you're not supposed to camp on this because they say this, people drive on this canal all throughout the night, or they can drive on it throughout the night. I don't know if they work 24/7, or I don't even know if this is a public road that people can drive through or if it's private, but either way, they say don't camp on this thing. And obviously camping on the road is stupid. And I don't know that you want to camp down there next to the canal. One, it's probably flooded to some extent, and you know, it's not mowed down or nothing. But this is big field or whatever is pretty rare. Most of what I'm walking next to is like this over here where it kind of drops off, and then you have like a small little shelf, and you know, obviously that's also not ideal for camping. So hopefully in the future I don't know, put some more campsites or something. It's kind of, I mean, it's all flat, but for most people this is still like, you know, day 3, 4, and 5 of a through hike. So, you know, my feet are sore from walking all this way. But anyway, I'm probably gonna stop there. Quite hasn't set yet, but I think I'll have at least another 2.5 hours until I get to camp. So hopefully I get some good nighttime views. I enjoy the late afternoon walk. I don't know that there's, I mean, there's definitely more animals and birds and stuff active, like all these, whatever these birds are right here flying around, swarming. There's all kinds of them. I don't know if they'll pick up on video, but there's some flying down there. I don't know if they, it shows up a little bit. I don't know where they're going or what they're doing, but so I don't think it's gonna show up. I'm having a hard time getting it to focus. I think because it's dark and my headlamp, it kind of focuses a little bit, but it goes in and out. But I've been walking along this canal for, I don't know, 5 miles or something. And this is the main one that I've kind of been looking at. And I've seen like maybe 2 or 3 in the water. I haven't seen really any on the banks. And you know, the sun just went down, so I turned my headlamp on just to, you know, obviously I got a rock in my shoe trying to get out just to see a little bit better. And I wasn't even paying attention to this canal on the right. So I don't really know if they've been over there this whole time, and I just wasn't looking. But I mean, they're everywhere. So I really wish it would focus, but their eyes light up, so you can just see these little like white lights floating in the water. And ever since I've looked over there in the last like 2 minutes, I've seen over 100 easily. I mean, every section that's next to me has 4 or 5 eyes just popping out, and like I can shine my light way down up here and see more eyes. That's nuts. I mean, I knew there was alligators in canals, obviously. But yeah, this is kind of one of the things, I guess, you know, walking at night, they're more active and you just don't realize. I mean, they're hard to see also. I mean, they just barely stick their eyes and noses out of the water as it is. So if the water's dark, it's hard to see them. But, you know, walking at night, that's one of the things you just miss. Another thing I noticed is there's obviously a lot more bugs, like all these little gnats and mosquitoes. But there's also a lot of fireflies. I'm hoping there's still a little bit of twilight left. I'm hoping as it gets a little bit darker, maybe more of them will come out, because fireflies are hard to find on trail. Like even doing the whole AT, there's only like a couple sections where you really ever saw them come out at night. I can only imagine that, you know, swampy marshlands and canals and stuff is probably their perfect habitat. But I did see one snake on just land on this road a little while back. I don't know what it was. It wasn't a rattlesnake or anything, just probably some kind of water snake. But my anecdote about don't sleep on these roads no matter how tired you are, there was a guy came flying past here probably at like 60 miles an hour, you know, and all I've seen on this road is work trucks, so I'm guessing this is a private road. But either way, he came flying through at 60 miles an hour, and I could see and hear him coming from a couple miles back. But I don't even know if he knew I was there, if he was paying attention or not. And on top of that, like I said, camping down by that's a hard pass for me with all them I mean, they're not gonna probably attack you, but who really wants to camp right next to that when there's hundreds of alligators in it? So yeah, the mosquitoes are pretty bad. They're biting. You know, I wear long sleeves and long pants to avoid this, and they are still biting through my shirt sometimes. So got my head net on, and got maybe like 4 or 5 miles to the campsite, and looking forward to eating my steak quesadilla I packed out. I'll be interested to see who's there. Everybody was kind of unsure about how many miles they were going to do. This is the first day we've really had where you can kind of do however many miles you want to do, because, you know, first it was a swamp. There was only certain places you could camp, and then there was the Seminole reservation. There was only one spot to camp, and yada yada. So, you know, if you wanted to, you could do 60 miles all the way to Clewiston in one go, or you can do 20 to the first one, or you could do 34 to the second campsite. So some people were saying they wanted to go further, but they didn't know if the feet were going to feel good, or the heat was going to get to them, or whatever. So I know at least one person is there, so I won't be camping alone tonight. We'll be curious to see how close it is to this canal, though. But that's the update for now.